take a look at John 10, 1 through 15. John 10, 1 through 15. This is, of course, the New Testament. All right. So we're going to take a look at the Good Shepherd. Christ is the Good Shepherd. We are the sheep of his pasture. The context of this is Christ had just healed a blind man. The Pharisees were all up in arms because they never saw anything like that. Who in the world has the authority to do this? By what means do they do this? And they tried to get the man to say something that would, convict Christ of heresy. And they even brought his parents into it and saying that he couldn't possibly have been born blind because they'd never seen anything. It was out of their context. And one of the things he says at the very end, he says, if this man were not from God, he could do nothing. And to this they replied, you were steeped in sin at birth. How dare you lecture us? And they threw him out. So he's talking to their spiritual blindness. So the passage that follows in chapter 10 deals with Christ the Good Shepherd, as he's really addressing their spiritual blindness. Not the physical blindness, but the spiritual blindness of those that do not believe. The Good Shepherd and his sheep. Verily, truly, I tell you, Pharisees, anyone who does not enter the sheep pen by the gate, but climbs in by some other way, is a thief and a robber. The one who enters by his gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for them, and the sheep listen to his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, you have to bear with me a little bit. My computer is broken, so I have this really tiny type. I had to just copy over here, so I'm like struggling to read some of these sometimes. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes on ahead of them, and his sheep follow him because they know his voice. But they will never follow a stranger. In fact, they will run away from him because they do not recognize a stranger's voice. Jesus uses this figure of speech, but the Pharisees did not understand what he was telling them. Therefore, Jesus said again, very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who have come before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep have not listened to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. I am the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep. So when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf attacks the flock and scatters it. The man runs away because he is a hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep. I am the Good Shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. So we have the image of Christ as a Good Shepherd. And in the Bible, that's a very high esteemed title, the Good Shepherd. We see it with Moses, we see it with some of the royalty of Israel. And it's a wonderful title to have. And if we look at the picture, we're seeing a pasture with a very narrow gate, and it's very low as well. And sometimes, it can be filled in with brush or branches, so the sheep stay contained within that safe area. Okay. Other times, the shepherd actually himself lies in the gate. And that's why Christ says, I am the gate. Because no man can come to the Father but by me, he says. So in 10, we see the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. But I have come that you may have life and have it to the full, to have it more abundantly, as some versions will say. This is why he came. This is why we celebrate this holiday. Because he came to give us life. Life in freedom. Freedom from sin. He laid down his life that we could live that way. Freedom from sickness. Freedom from disease. Freedom from any of the curses mentioned in the Bible. He bore those things for us. That's why he came. That we could be with him. That he could be our good shepherd. And what's our obligation? To know his word. To do his word. Believe in it. And to act on his word. Then we have life abundantly. Philippians 4:19. It says, "But my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus." So whatever we ask in his name, according to his will, it's granted to all those who believe. So whether it's sickness or poverty or homelessness or whatever the case is, boldly go to God because he's promised you these things. Yeshua came to provide these things for us. Believe, act, speak his word, live his